Hi guys! I was thinking about our last story and I remembered this book that I had hidden in the back of a cupboard and I thought we could make some Gruffalo Crumble together. Now I've already tried this recipe and it's super yummy and it uses things that you might already have in your cupboard, which is fantastic too. I'll post a link to this recipe down below because it's already online, so if you don't have the book you don't need to worry about going and finding it. Let's get started. First thing we need is our aprons. Ready? Whoa! Let's get cooking!
Okay, so before we begin, we're going to need to gather our ingredients. That's 3 apples, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of caster sugar, 1 tablespoon of apple juice, 300 grams of blackberries, 75 grams of unsalted butter, 100 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of oats, and 50 grams of brown sugar. Then we'll need to gather our utensils. So that's a vegetable peeler, a sharp knife, 2 big mixing bowls, a medium-sized oven-proof dish, a set of scales, a chopping board, a teaspoon, a tablespoon, and a spatula. Before we start, we need to make sure that our surfaces are all clean, so give them a good scrub. And then you've got to wash your hands, so make sure you get them all wet. And then really bubbly and soapy. Give them a good scrub, make sure you get in between your fingers and under your nails. And then rinse off all the soap and dry your hands properly. Make sure you remember the backs of your hands because you don't want to get sore fingers. Right, so now we're getting our 3 apples. 1, 2, 3. And then onto our plain flour. Here we go, plain flour. And our cinnamon, there it is. Perfect. Next we'll need some things out of our fridge, so that's 300 grams of blackberries, which is 2 punnets, and some butter, and some apple juice as well. There we go. Next we'll need our oats, perfect, and some sugar, so we'll need our brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar, but you can use whatever you like. And, oh, what's this? A Gruffalo? There's no Gruffalos in this recipe. We'll need our caster sugar to finish off. Perfect. Alright, we've gathered all of our ingredients now, so we're ready to go. Make sure you give your fruit a nice wash, make sure it's all clean. We don't want any nasty bits going into our crumble. Make sure they're all rinsed and the water's touched every single one of them if you can. Just give it a good little shake under there. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. You'll need to get an adult's help for this bit because ovens are hot.
Okay, we've got all of our ingredients, so now it's time to make the crumble. We need to take our apples. And we've got to peel them. Now, an apple peeler or a vegetable peeler is quite sharp, so you'll want a grown-up to help you with this. You just need to take off all the pieces of skin because you don't want to eat that in your crumble. Okay, apples are peeled. If yours, like mine, have got a little bit of the core on them, see mine's are just a little bit black bits there, and you can just give them a little rinse under the tap and it'll come right off. Here we are. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to wrap up all of this apple peeling here, so I've got some more space. And I can put that in the compost later. Here we go. Okay, now is the time to cut up your apple into bite-sized chunks. You're going to use a knife, and that's very sharp as well, so it's a good idea to get an adult to help you with this bit too. You can make them as big or as small as you like. They don't have to be tiny. And then just put them in your bowl. Alrighty, it's the apples all chopped. Next is the blackberries. So just 2 punnets of blackberries is what you wanted, but you want to save a few of them for putting on top. So all of one goes in, and then I'll save maybe about 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can be saved for later for putting on the top, and the rest can all go in. Now we have to add some cinnamon, and it's a full teaspoon, so that's a little spoon, of cinnamon. Give that a little shake in there. Perfect. And then next is some caster sugar. You need like a tablespoon, so that's the big spoon of caster sugar. I'll give it a little shake over the top. And then we're moving on to the apple juice, and it's a tablespoon of apple juice. If you've not got apple juice, lemon juice would work as well. Maybe any other kind of fruit juice. If you've got some berry juice, might be quite yummy too. There we go. And now we just give everything a big stir. Make sure it's all coated the same. Really like cinnamon. Cinnamon and apples. Yum yum. Okay, it looks like everything's got some of the cinnamon on it and the sugar. It's all pretty well cooked. So now it just goes straight into the cooking dish. And then we'll spread it out so it's all over the bottom. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I've cleared away a few of the things that I don't need anymore, like the apples and the apple cores and the apple peel, and the other bowl. So I've got a big bowl now, ready to do the crumble topping. I'm using this butter because it's the best one for me, but you just use whichever one is best for you. And we need 75 grams of butter, so that's a 7 and a 5 onto your scale. And I'd like it in cubes, so it's probably best to get a grown up to help you with this bit. And we're at 75, perfect. Okay, I'm going to put the scale to one side, and I can make sure that all of my butter is nice cold cubes. It's probably best to keep your butter in the fridge before you do this, so it's nice and cold. Okay, now we've got to put the butter into the big mixing bowl. There we go, put that all in. You can use this spatula to put it in. Okay, that's more butter in there. The next ingredient is the flour, so I'm going to use a little dish to weigh out my flour into, just in case I get the number wrong. I don't want to accidentally put in too much and then I can't put it back in the bag. So we've got our plain flour, and we're looking for 100 grams. So that's 100. Oh, I've dripped flour everywhere already. And now 100 on the dot. Perfect. Put my flour to the side, and this can go into the big bowl. I always like to sieve my flour just to make sure there's no little bits in it. I'll put it in. And I'm going to use this tub for measuring out the oats afterwards. So I'll just put it to one side. I'll get my flour in to my big baking bowl. Okay. Good to get your hands and rub the butter together so it looks like breadcrumbs, really little bits. If this doesn't work, don't worry too much. Mine doesn't usually turn out like this because the butter I use is more like margarine. It's best if it does, because then it's more like a crumble, but if it doesn't, don't worry too much. It still tastes yummy. To rub it together. Standing on my tiptoes so I can actually see into the bowl. It's up quite high. So make sure you get all the flour that's around the sides of the bowls, because that will make it go into breadcrumbs a bit better. I'm going to have to go and wash my hands now, but first, that's how my flour and butter is looking together. I'm going to go give my hands a little wash because they are so messy. I'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Clean hands. And now we need to get some oats and brown sugar. So let's first get the oats, and then we can put those into the bowl too. I'm getting the same tub as last time. And I need, how many oats? 50 grams of oats, 50 grams. So I'm just going to keep shaking till I see a 5 and a 0. Oh, I'm at 4-0, nearly there. Perfect, 50. Put these to the side because I don't need them anymore. I'm just going to put them into the big bowl so I can work out my brown sugar. I need 50 grams of brown sugar as well. I've got this brown sugar, this one here. And so I'm looking for a 5 and a 0 again. Oh, I've got 5, 1, 51, but that'll be fine, so I'm just going to pop that in anyway. Right. That goes in your big bowl, and this is where your spatula comes out. Now you've got to give it a little bit of a stir. You don't want it to go into a big bowl, because then it's more like a cobbler with a big biscuit on the top. There we go. Bit of a stir. And now we need to put it evenly over the top. So what you can do is you can use a little spoon and spoon it on. Make sure you've got some on the sides, some in the middle. Or you can just pour it on. I'm just going to spread it out. Oh, oats are flying everywhere. There we are. Trying to make sure it covers everything and it all looks about the same height, because we've got to put our blackberries on the top to make our purple pickles. So here we are. Put them on the top. 1, 2, 3. And I've got a few more. 4, 5, 6. Perfect. There we are. One Gruffalo Crumble ready to go into the oven for baking.
Now it's time to put your crumble into the oven. Remember, ovens are very hot, so get a grown-up to help you with this part. And set your timer to 40 minutes. That's a 4 and a 0. While the crumble is cooking, we can get a bit of a head start on these dishes, so we don't have to do it later. Oops, missed a bit. Just use some nice warm, hot, soapy water to make sure you get all those bits of batter off. There we are, all done. Perfect. Let's see how the time's getting on. Oh, I'm just checking halfway through because sometimes my oven cooks a bit quickly. Oh, not quite right. I'll leave it in for another 20 minutes. The timer's gone off. Let's have a look, see how it's doing this time. Oh, that smells nice. Let's have a look. Golden brown. Perfect. Our crumble's done. We don't need the oven anymore, so it can be turned off.
I had a lot of fun making that crumble, and I hope you did too. If you want to try it again at home, why not try with some different fruits? I made one the other day with some blueberries and it was absolutely delicious. See what combinations you can come up with. Now I'm going to go and try some of this really tasty looking crumble. Bye!